So in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, it's revealed that Goku doesn't know what meditation is. Actually, scratch that. It's revealed that Goku doesn't know what meditation is anymore. As this revelation is just the latest in a disappointing trend you, I, and other Dragon Ball fans have noticed for years now during Dragon Ball's revival era. As while we are grateful for new Dragon Ball content, it appears to have come at the cost of the integrity of Goku's characterization. Gone is the powerful and pure-hearted martial arts master, and in his place is a bumbling moron who sometimes shows glimpses of the anime icon we once knew. Many fans try to pin the blame solely on Toei Animation, and while the worst of Goku's newfound stupidity does indeed come from there, such as him forgetting a Senzu bean in the Goku Black arc, you have to remember that for the movies, Toriyama writes the script, therefore a lot of Goku's character assassination has come straight from him. So this begs the question, why would Akira Toriyama do this to Goku's character? Well, there's actually a logical but cynical reason behind all this, and actually, Toriyama planted the seed for Goku's character regression in Goku's very first scene of the very first movie of Dragon Ball's revival era. That's right, Goku's character assassination started all the way back in Battle of Gods. You see, the initial confrontation between Goku and Beerus wasn't just to establish the God of Destruction as the big new threat, it was also served as an indicator as to just how far Toriyama is going to regress Goku's character. So let's break down the story beats of the fight. Goku meets a god and his attendant. Goku, in his foolish arrogance, believes his power to be superior. Goku then gets humbled and finger flicked by the god. This may not appear all too damning at first glance. That is until you realize that this is just a remixed version of Goku's initial meeting with Kami and Mr. Popo. As it was there that Goku's arrogance, fresh from him punching a hole through King Piccolo's stomach, led him to believe that he was unstoppable, until he was humbled by Popo and then finger flicked by Kami, albeit not due to his arrogance, but the similarities between the two scenes are striking. Goku's meeting with Kami and Popo was so pivotal to his character, as it was there that the teachings of Roshi, that there is always someone better, was permanently integrated into his martial artist philosophy of self-improvement. Therefore, this scene has the unfortunate impact of marginalizing a lot of the growth Goku had gone through as a character throughout the original manga, as after training with Kami, he would always treat his opponents with some level of respect. Even in battles where he rightfully or wrongfully believed he was the stronger combatant, he wouldn't outwardly, arrogantly boast about his power level and mock his opponent's apparent inferiority. In fact, when Goku would mock his opponents in the manga, it always came from a place of wanting to bruise the ego of an arrogant, evil opponent rather than serving his own self-satisfaction. But you know, I could chalk this scene up to being more of a reference to Goku's past than a case of character assassination. But then there's Resurrection F to consider, and the second movie of Dragon Ball's revival era really does continue in Goku's character regression, and it starts with the introduction of the concept of what would eventually become Ultra Instinct. Now, believe it or not, this scene wasn't actually a foreshadowing of the power-up Goku would get in the Tournament of Power. It was more of a remixed version of martial arts lessons that Goku had learned from Kami and Popo back when he was a child. Principles he held onto all the way through to the Buu Saga. The Dragon Ball Super manga even hints at this as well when Goku attains Ultra Instinct, since at that point Goku kinda forgot that he's a martial artist, I guess. Meanwhile, the rest of Ultra Instinct, as much as Whis hypes it up and adds a lot of flowery language to it, it's just glorified reflexes combined with what happens when an athlete or even a gamer gets into the zone, where the body makes optimal choices subconsciously. You've probably experienced this yourself. So with that being said, how do you sell the audience on the idea that Goku needs to relearn such basic martial arts principles? Well, that's easy. Out of nowhere, you make him into such an incompetent and arrogant martial artist that now Goku just lets his guard down in the middle of fights, and that's why he almost dies to a fucking laser pointer in the debut of his most super and most strongest super duper blue god form. Now this just makes zero sense. Throughout the original manga, if a Dragon Ball character is powered up, they're super durable. They have to actively lower their power level to be vulnerable to lesser attacks. But now I guess Goku can just let his guard down and be susceptible to attacks billions of times weaker than he is. But that's not even the worst of what Resurrection F does, as the film gave us the return of the franchise's most iconic and integral villain, the galactic tyrant Frieza, whose battle with Goku on planet Namek is synonymous with one of the most iconic anime transformations and beatdowns of all time. It was after said beatdown that Frieza taught Goku another important lesson, which aided in his growth as a character and a martial artist. That being that not everyone has the potential to turn over a new leaf and become a friendly rival to him if he gives them the chance, like what happened with Piccolo and Vegeta. It's after blasting Frieza, you can see a complex look on Goku's face, that of anger, regret, sadness. His hand is left shaking after doing what he had to do, believing that he had killed him. So in Resurrection F, after a tough fight, Goku manages to get the upper hand on the powered up Frieza, a being that after decades to reflect on his mortal life, still made killing Goku and blowing up the Earth his #1 priority. So here Goku has this genocidal maniac dead to rights. So what does he do about it? Well, this is a video all about Goku's character assassination, so he makes a decision that is so mind-bogglingly stupid that I don't think the fanbase calls enough attention to it. Goku actually invites Frieza to leave the planet and train some more because he could make a great sparring partner. Okay, first of all, this is just an insanely stupid decision since Frieza almost managed to bridge the gap between himself and Goku with just 4 months of training. Meanwhile, Goku needed decades of training and teaching from the strongest being in the universe just to reach blue level. So by this movie's logic, Frieza only needed 1 more day of push-ups in order to body Goku with ease. Also, it portrays Goku's character development from the original manga. It's after learning that not everyone can be redeemed is why Goku was screaming at Gohan to kill Cell when he had the chance, because Cell, well, I don't know, could get desperate and try to destroy the entire planet. He wasn't shouting, "Wait Gohan, you have to let him go, he could be a really fun sparring partner someday." And when it came to Majin Buu, as much as Goku wanted to fight him under better circumstances, he knew he would have to be reincarnated to purge the evil from him, which is how we got Oob at the end of Z. But what really gets me about this scene is that after Frieza does indeed blow up the planet, Beerus berates Goku for being too soft on Frieza, even though this is a lesson Goku already learnt back in the original manga, and Goku straight up killed Mecha Frieza in Future Trunks' timeline, and I highly doubt he invited King Cold to go train or some other bullshit. And then in Dragon Ball Super Broly, it's pretty much confirmed that Goku didn't even consider the possibility that Frieza could get another overpowered transformation to kill him with, because they resurrected him. This being the same Frieza that tried to stab Goku in the back when he saved his life on Namek. And I know it's in different continuities, but Black Frieza could still pop up in the next movie. So this brings us back to the meditation scene of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and now I can fully tear this scene to shreds and expose just how badly it shits all over Goku's legacy from the original manga. Firstly, in the original manga, when Goku saw Vegeta thinking to himself on a rock, he knew exactly what Vegeta was doing. Then when Vegeta explains Jiren's fighting style to Goku, while he stares at him like a slack-jawed idiot, he says that Jiren is so efficient in his fighting style because he conserves energy right until the moment he has to attack. Meanwhile, this is a technique Goku himself pioneered all the way back in the Namek saga. Whis then berates Goku for thinking that training is all about working one's muscles, even though Goku is the one who lectured Vegeta about not overworking one's body all the way back in the Cell saga. And then linking this back to Goku's character regressing to his child self, it was when training with Kami and Popo is when Goku first learned the value of meditation. And you know what really bothers me about this scene? If they needed Vegeta to teach a character the importance of meditation and efficient fighting styles, Broly, a character who fights like a barbarian and who can barely control his own ki, was standing right there. So with the 4 movies covered, now we can finally answer the question, why did Akira Toriyama choose to regress Goku's character like this? Why would he ruin the character, one of the most iconic anime characters in history, and one which was so influential that he inspired modern shonen manga legends such as Luffy and Naruto? Well, here's the thing, for Dragon Ball to resurrect in the way that it did, Goku's character had to be sacrificed. Let me explain. You see, by the Cell saga of Dragon Ball, Goku was essentially a completed character, in the sense that his path to power of martial arts mastery was complete. You can tell by his gi, which once carried the symbols representing his masters, eventually becoming one which represented himself, all before disappearing completely. Goku had become a wise, mature, highly skilled martial artist, one which no longer needed a master. You can see this by him mastering the Super Saiyan transformation and unlocking the Super Saiyan free form in Otherworld, and in turn a character which no longer had room to grow. But this would make Goku a less interesting protagonist. It's why Gohan was supposed to take up the protagonist role in the Buu saga, but that didn't quite work out. So therefore, in order to hinge this new era of Dragon Ball on the tried and trusted shoulders of Son Goku, he couldn't remain the level-headed, competent, mature, relatively speaking, character he was by the end of the manga, because a character with so little flaws or little room to grow could risk boring the audience. So in order to alleviate such risks, Akira Toriyama seems to have decided to just regress all of Goku's character development and the maturity that he went through as an adult, symbolized by Whis writing his own signature on Goku's orange gi, thereby essentially confirming that Goku has indeed regressed from a martial arts master to an impatient and ignorant student, thereby sacrificing Goku's character development and exploiting nostalgia, all in order for Dragon Ball to live once again. You know, it's kind of ironic because Dragon Ball's return is something that I and a lot of Dragon Ball fans were wishing for well over a decade. But now it looks as though that wish was granted on more of a monkey's paw rather than a set of Dragon Balls. But you know what really bothers me about all this? Again, is that Akira Toriyama was perfectly aware that Goku eventually had to be replaced as a protagonist in order to avoid regressing his character. That's why that even after the plan to have Gohan replace Goku failed, he managed to introduce Oob in the very last chapters of Dragon Ball, thereby making Goku the master to Oob in a weird but genius ending. So to know more about why Dragon Ball's weird ending was actually genius, click this video over here. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and stay locked into the cage. Peace out.